What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to give you my top 10 wrestlers who should sign with AEW. Now, let's not wait any longer. Let's get right into the list. Number 10, Tessa Blanchard. One of the things here, she is a free agent. If you're not familiar with Tessa Blanchard, she is more known for her work in Mexico, but especially in Impact, where she won the World Championship. She was a knockout championship there as well. And I think AEW really needs her because their women's division, as you know, is not that strong. So I think she's that woman that could make the division much more stronger. And I think she'll fit in perfectly because her dad, Tully Blanchard, is there. So I think she'll feel comfortable there. And yeah, she still is currently a free agent, but I really hope she goes to AEW, not WWE. I don't think she's good in WWE, AEW for sure. Number 9, Nick Aldis. If you're not familiar with him, he is an NWA champion, and recently AEW and NWA has done some collaborations, including Ricky Starks, Thunder Rosa. I think he'll be a really good person to have. Once he loses the NWA title, it'll be cool to probably see him in AEW. I don't know, it's unlikely. This was one I was certain, but I think I'll put in. But I think he will fit great in AEW. Number 8, Chris Bay. And if you're not familiar with this guy, he is from Impact Wrestling. He is a former X Division champion, and his athleticism is just amazing. If you haven't seen him, high flyer, which I think is what AEW needs more. Not really someone you can compare him to. I guess you can say anyone that is a high flyer in AEW that has a lot of athleticism. But yeah, I think he will be really good in AEW. Maybe after he's done at Impact, he's still signed to Impact, so not a free agent, but maybe when he becomes a free agent, AEW is there. There's a lot of options for him to go. But for me, I think AEW would be the best bet for him. Number 7, Warhorse. If you're not familiar with this guy, go back and watch the matches he's competed in. He is great. And now, yeah, I wasn't too familiar with him myself until he had that TNT Championship match with Cody on Dynamite. And he really impressed me that night. He is just super talented in the ring. And I think AEW needs him. I think it's weird that AEW sometimes has a bunch of talent on the show and they're unsigned. I think they should sign Warhorse. He did well on Dynamite. They signed Eddie Kingston, who was unsigned before going into his match. They should have signed Warhorse as well. Super talented man. I think he'll be a great fit with AEW. But Cody, of course, isn't the TNT champion now, but he could get that back. And I think he'll have some great matches with some people in AEW. I think it'll be a great fit in there. Number 6, Sammy Callahan. He is also from Impact Wrestling. And I think he'll be great in AEW now because he was part of OVE in Impact Wrestling. And that stable eventually dispersed, and now he's just all alone in Impact Wrestling. So I think it'll be good for him to go to AEW. He is a big guy, but he is really talented. He's had matches with other people in AEW back in Impact, like Pentagon. He had a great feud with Pentagon, other Lucha Brothers, and who knows, if he goes there, he could reunite that rivalry with Pentagon. That was a really good rivalry, I think. But I don't know, I think AEW would be good for him. He is actually former Impact World Champion, so I think he's got the talent to become, or at least take a shot at the AEW World Championship. I think probably, but not right when he gets there. But I think Sammy Callahan would fit great in All Elite Wrestling. Number 5. Now this is a hard one if he chooses to wrestle again, but Lio Rush. Of course, WWE fans, NXT fans will know of him. In WWE, he didn't get too much of a shot because he was just running around with Bobby Lashley and like that. But then he went to NXT again and really showed what he was made of. He won the Cruiserweight Championship, had a couple of great defenses before losing it. And then he eventually got released by WWE, actually, which surprised me because he was a super talented guy, high flying and everything. He was much like Chris Bay, who I also mentioned in this list. But I think he's someone that WWE should have not released because he's just a great talent, and that's probably gone to waste. And now he should be friends with Joey Janela. He did a match in GCW, which is an independent brand, against him. So Joey Janela knows about him, and Joey Janela has contact with the Elite, so he can possibly make the move to AEW, of course, if he decides to, because he's now more of a singer. That's, of course, if he decides to wrestle again. It doesn't look like he is going to compete in a big stage again, like the WWE or the AEW. But yeah, this was one I had to put on this list just in case. I just really want Leo Rush to wrestle again. I just love seeing him in the ring. And it doesn't really look like we're going to see him wrestle again, which sucks. But if he did decide to wrestle again, I hope he just goes to AEW, and that's where I want him. Number 4, Jordynne Grace. If you haven't heard of her, she is also from Impact Wrestling. She is a former Knockouts champion, in fact. And she is a big person too. You can much compare her to someone like Nyla Rose or Nia Jax. Just like powerful. I think she has everything. Another great addition to AEW's Women's Division if she decides to join. She just recently lost the Knockout Championship. It doesn't look like she's going to regain it, so she might be moving to another company. Of course, it could be AEW, it could be WWE. I think she'll fit best in AEW. I just see her perfectly in AEW and having some great matches with some of the women's division. Like, she can have a great match with Cheetah. She can have a great match with Dr. Baker. I don't know, that's just some of the women's in AEW I think at the moment. But I think she'll fit great in All Elite Wrestling. And another great addition to the women's division, much like Tessa Blanchard. But I'll love to see her in AEW or in a bigger company when she decides to leave Impact Wrestling. And number 3, we got someone that is well known. Pretty much everyone watching this, Rusev. Now, yes, I know he's probably not going to wrestle again. He said it on his Twitch and everything like that. He's not interested in wrestling again. But if he does get into interest to go back into wrestling, I doubt he's going back to WWE. They released him. And now the one probably big option for him is AEW. Unless he wants to go somewhere in the independents like Impact or ROH. But I think AEW would be best for him. He probably doesn't have to keep the name Rusev. He can be like Miro or something, which is a good name because a lot of people like had that Miro's All Elite post or everything they like as a fantasy post. Yeah, I like that. Or like to change his name. Maybe be like a bit more of like a Karrion Kross kind of style or like Lance Archer kind of style in AEW. Like how he debuted in WWE, he was like that. He was undefeated and stuff, super powerful. That's how he should debut in AEW. That's how I want him to debut. But I don't know if he's gonna wrestle again. Like, it doesn't look like he's gonna wrestle again. But if he decides to wrestle again, if I booked him, I would put him in AEW. Number 2, Dragon Lee. Wasn't too familiar with this guy at first, but super high flying, luchador. Of course, you can easily compare him on the AEW roster to someone like Phoenix or someone like Rey Mysterio, high-flying luchador, just everything you'll expect out of someone like Phoenix or like him. Just really good, and like I like to see him in the ring. He's probably most well-known in ROH, Ring of Honor. He did a lot of stuff there, and like he's someone I could see in AEW. Maybe have like a faction with the Lucha Bros or something, like they can do a trio or something. Even if he goes to WWE, he can like, well, like that would be like weird. I wouldn't want him to be with Lucha House Party, but like even if he has a solo career in AEW, he's not someone I see with the AEW World Championship right away. Maybe the TNT title, but he's someone that AEW could really benefit from. He's an entertaining guy, and I think he'll do good in AEW. Not like he is a number 2, but like he's someone like I question, whether or not he will be good or not. But I don't know. I just decided to put him in this list. I think he's entertaining. I think he'll fit well in AEW if he just chooses to go there. Number 1. Now, I had a lot of like thinking to do. Who should I put number 1? And then it hit to me. Now, a lot of people are probably going to judge me on this. I don't really care. Number 1 is Zack Sabre Jr. And yes, I know a lot of people are going to say, no, he's in NJPW. He's doing great in Japan there. But he did call out one Jon Moxley, who is the current AEW World Champion. He attacked him when he was in Japan. They were supposed to have a match, I believe. It was going to be like AEW versus New Japan, but that match never happened because now Zack is stuck in Japan and John is in AEW and they can't travel. But I think he'll be a good fit in AEW, even if he did like just fights against Jon Moxley for one match in AEW. That's fine, and just goes back to New Japan. That's fine with me. Like, I'll just love to see him just have a couple matches. Hopefully, we do get an AEW and New Japan event like they do at ROH and New Japan every year. I really hope we do that with AEW, especially because the Elite, the Young Bucks, like Kenny Omega, part of the Elite, spent most of their careers before AEW in New Japan, so they have huge connections there. So yeah, so hopefully we get like a supercard or something like that eventually. And one of the matches I'd love to see is Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jon Moxley. And yeah, that's just pretty much it. Let's say I love to see Zack Sabre Jr. in New Japan, and he's someone who I want to see in AEW. That's my top 10 who should sign with AEW. Comment down below if you agreed with my list, even if you disagreed. That's fine. Or comment down below what is your top 10. And don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.